Hey, child of God, you are safe here tonight. You have been running all day, through thoughts, through worry, through moments that tried to steal your peace, but now you can stop. The night is here to hold you. Take a slow breath in and let it go. You do not have to be strong right now. You do not have to fix anything. For a moment, you can simply exist in this quiet space where your soul can finally breathe. The Lord once whispered through David's song, "When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." That is what this moment is, a chance to be lifted higher, above the noise, above the ache, into peace. There is a place where you are completely known. Every thought, every fear, every tear you never spoke aloud. And in that knowing, you are still loved, endlessly and without condition. Peace is not found in perfect circumstances. Peace lives in presence, in the gentle nearness of the God who never leaves. He sits beside you now. You may not see him, but the calm you start to feel, that's him. The soft release in your chest, that's him too. The air you breathe carries his grace. Each inhale says, "You are still here." Each exhale whispers, "You are not alone." You might think you are broken, but to him, you are whole. You might think you are failing, but to him, you are already enough. He does not wait for you to be perfect. He meets you in your weakness, and in that weakness, his love is strongest. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine his hand resting gently on your shoulder. He does not need to say anything, because his presence alone tells you everything you need to know. You are safe. You are seen. You are loved. The Psalms say, "He gives rest to his beloved." That means you. Tonight, you are his beloved. So lay down the armor you've been wearing all day, the smile you forced, the thoughts you juggled, the fears you tried to hide. None of it is needed here. God doesn't need your performance. He just wants your heart. He wants you to rest. Let your breath find a rhythm again. Feel it slow, soft, steady, and if your mind still races, if your heart won't quiet down, just whisper, "Jesus, I trust you." That's enough. Those words open heaven. When David was afraid, he said, "I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." Safety is not the absence of danger. It is the presence of God. It is knowing that no matter what tomorrow holds, you are held. Held by the one who never sleeps, never forgets, and never stops loving. So you can rest inside that truth. Look outside your window, see the stars. Each one burns because God told it to, and yet he says you are worth more than all of them. Every spark in the night sky is a reminder that his eyes never leave you. Even in darkness, you are not lost. You are seen. You are chosen. Maybe your heart still feels restless. Maybe the noise in your mind hasn't faded yet. That's okay. Healing doesn't rush, and peace doesn't shout. It comes like dawn, soft, steady, unstoppable. Let it rise in you now. Let light begin to touch the corners of your thoughts. Let hope breathe again. And if you've been wondering whether God still cares, hear this: he does. He always has. He always will. You are not forgotten, child of God. Not one breath has gone unseen. Not one tear has been wasted. Every moment of pain is a seed planted in his garden, and soon joy will grow there. The psalmist wrote, "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." Maybe that song won't come tonight, but it will come. And when it does, you will remember this moment and know he was here all along. Now let your heart whisper back, "Lord, I am here." That's all he ever wanted, not perfection, not endless strength, just your presence. As you breathe, let his spirit cradle you like a gentle tide. Let your heart beat slow until it matches the rhythm of his peace. The world can wait, the worries can wait. Tonight, all that matters is this: you are safe, you are loved, you are his. Sleep now, child of God. Rest in the one who never leaves, who never stops holding you, who loves you more deeply than you could ever understand. Close your eyes. Let peace take you. Let grace breathe through you. You do not have to be brave tonight. You only have to be loved, and you are. Sometimes trust doesn't come easily. The mind wants to understand, to predict, to hold control over everything. But the heart, oh, the heart just wants to rest. Trust begins where control ends. It starts the moment you stop trying to steer the waves and remember who made the sea. Tonight is not about solving, it's about surrendering. You don't need to see the full path ahead. You only need to know that the one walking beside you has never lost a traveler. The Psalms remind us, "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken but endures forever." Trust does not mean life is quiet. It means that even in the shaking, your soul stands firm. There will be storms, winds will rise, but the foundation beneath you is not built on fear, it's built on faith. Even when your knees tremble, he does not. Think back for a moment to all the nights you thought you wouldn't make it. The tears that fell into the pillow, the times your chest ached because the world felt too heavy. Yet here you are, breathing, listening, resting. That's proof of his faithfulness. The same God who carried you through then is carrying you through now. His hands have not changed, his heart has not turned away, and his promise still stands. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Sometimes, trust is as simple as breathing his name. When your thoughts begin to race, when fear tries to take over, whisper it softly, Jesus. It's not just a name, it's a lifeline. The sound of it steadies your soul, like an anchor in restless waters. Every time you say it, something inside you remembers. You're not the one keeping yourself afloat. He is. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on a small boat at sea. The waves move gently, the stars glimmer above, and in the quiet, you see him walking toward you across the water. There's no fear in his steps, no rush in his voice, only peace. You hear him say, "Do not be afraid, it is I." And suddenly, the storm inside you stills. The same God who walked on waves now walks through your worry. The same voice that calmed the sea now speaks to your heart. You might not understand what's happening in your life right now. The unanswered prayers, the delays, the detours, they can make it hard to trust. But sometimes God hides answers inside the waiting. Sometimes what feels like silence is actually the sound of him building something unseen. You do not need to see what he sees. You only need to believe that his vision is good. David once said, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." Notice he didn't say, "if I am afraid," but "when." Because fear comes to everyone. Even the strongest hearts tremble sometimes. Trust is not the absence of fear, it's choosing faith in the middle of it. You can be scared and still believe. You can cry and still be loved. You can doubt and still belong. God's love does not depend on your confidence. It depends on his character, and he does not change. So tonight, if your heart feels uncertain, let that be your prayer. Lord, teach me to trust you again. It's okay to start small. Trust often begins as a whisper before it becomes a song. The more you let go, the lighter you become. The tighter you hold on to him, the freer you'll feel. That's the mystery of faith. It doesn't always make sense, but it always brings peace. Imagine your heart as a small bird resting in his hand. It doesn't need to flap to stay safe. It doesn't need to prove it can fly. It just rests, knowing the hand beneath it is steady. That's what it means to trust God, to rest without fear of falling. The psalm says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." Close your eyes and see that image, warm light surrounding you, peace pressing close, his presence like soft wings wrapping around your soul. No harm can touch what he holds. No darkness can swallow what he shelters. If you listen closely, you can almost hear his heartbeat. Slow, strong, steady. It tells you that you are safe, that nothing surprises him, that no mistake can separate you from his love. When you can't hold yourself together, he holds you together. When you don't know what comes next, he's already there. Tonight, trust is not about certainty. It's about closeness. You don't need to understand. You just need to lean. Let your heart lean against his chest. Feel his peace move through you like a quiet river. Let the edges of your thoughts soften. The world will keep spinning, even if you let go for a while. It's okay to rest. It's okay to not have answers. It's okay to trust again. And if fear comes knocking, you don't have to fight it alone. Just say, "God, I trust you." You can say it trembling. You can say it crying. You can say it barely above a whisper. It still counts. Heaven still hears it. And in that moment, something shifts. The weight you've been holding starts to lift. The noise starts to fade. Peace begins to settle like dawn over the horizon. God is faithful, even when you can't see it. He's working, even when you can't feel it. And he's closer than the air you breathe. Let that truth cradle you as you drift towards sleep. You are safe, not because life is easy, but because his love is unshakable. So close your eyes now, child of God. Let his presence be your pillow. Let his promises be your blanket. Let his peace sing you into rest. You are not alone in this night. You are not forgotten in this storm. You are known. You are loved. You are held. Trust in him and sleep. Faith often begins in the quiet where questions echo and answers seem far away. It doesn't always arrive with certainty. Sometimes it grows from doubt, from the cracks in your heart where light still dares to enter. You don't have to have perfect faith to be loved. God meets you right where belief feels fragile, and He whispers, "I'm still here." You don't need to force your faith to look strong. It only needs to be real. There were days when you believed easily, when hope came naturally, when every prayer felt like it touched heaven. And then came the days when faith felt heavy, when silence seemed endless, when you wondered if God had turned His face away. But He hadn't. The silence didn't mean absence, it meant He was listening more deeply than words could reach. In the quiet, He was shaping your faith, not to make you fearful, but to make you strong. Faith is not about never falling. It's about rising each time, trusting that grace will catch you. It's walking even when you can't see the next step, because you know the ground beneath you belongs to Him. The Psalms say, "Those who look to the Lord are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame." That light comes not from strength but from surrender. When you stop fighting to understand and start trusting to believe, that's when peace begins to take root. There is a kind of faith that doesn't shout. It breathes. It's not loud or proud. It's gentle, steady, and unbreakable. It's the kind that wakes you in the morning after a night of tears and whispers, "Try again." The kind that holds your hand in the dark and says, "We're not done yet." The kind that sees the storm and still steps forward because it remembers who commands the wind. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat that night. The waves were high, the sky wild, but Jesus said, "Come." Peter's feet trembled, yet he moved. He walked on what should have drowned him because his eyes were fixed on love. That's what faith does. It teaches you to walk on what once terrified you. It reminds you that fear can exist, but it doesn't have to win. Faith doesn't always mean everything makes sense. It means believing that even what's broken can still be beautiful, that even when the outcome is unclear, God's heart is still good. You may not see the full story yet, but you are already part of a promise, a story written with grace, where every page, even the painful ones, leads to redemption. Maybe your faith feels small tonight. That's okay. Jesus said that faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. A seed doesn't look like much, but it contains everything needed to grow. The soil of your struggle is where God plants His miracles. So don't despise the smallness of your faith. In His hands, it's more than enough. Faith is the quiet courage to say, "Even if I don't see the way, I'll still walk." It's not denying fear, it's choosing love over it. It's holding on to the unseen and believing it's more real than the storm. It's knowing that your weakness is not the end of your story, it's the place where His power begins. When you doubt, remember the man in Scripture who cried out, "Lord, I believe, help my unbelief." That's faith too. It's honesty wrapped in hope. God never rejected the weak faith. He blessed it, grew it, strengthened it. He does the same for you. Every time you whisper, "I'm trying," heaven hears, "I believe." The psalmist once wrote, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" Light doesn't remove the night instantly. It begins as a flicker, then spreads. Faith works the same way. Tonight, let that small light rise in you again. Let it touch your thoughts, your breath, your heart. Let it remind you that the God who spoke light into the void still speaks light into you. When you cannot pray, faith prays for you. When words fail, faith becomes a heartbeat that says, I'm still here. When strength runs out, faith leans on grace, and grace always holds. So if you're tired of believing, rest. God is not asking you to try harder. He's asking you to trust deeper. Let Him carry your faith for a while. He is faithful even when you're not. His love does not depend on your certainty. It rests on His promise, and His promise is eternal. Take another slow breath. Feel the weight of doubt begin to lift. Feel His peace settle in your chest. The night may be dark, but faith knows that dawn is coming. It always comes. For every shadow, there is a sunrise waiting just beyond your sight. So close your eyes now. Let go of trying to understand. Let your heart whisper one last prayer before sleep. Lord, I believe You're still working, even when I can't see it. And He is. Right now, in ways you cannot measure, He's weaving grace through every part of your life. Sleep in that truth, child of God. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are loved with a love that believes in you even when you doubt yourself. Let that love be your light. Let faith be your rest. Hope begins quietly, often when everything else seems to have fallen apart. It's that small spark that refuses to go out, even when the night feels endless. You may not notice it at first, but it's there deep inside, like a flicker behind closed eyes. Hope does not shout. It whispers. It speaks softly to the weary soul and says, hold on, the morning is coming. There are nights when hope feels far away, when darkness stretches so long you start to forget what light looks like. You tell yourself it will never change, that you'll always feel this way. But you won't. The night is never endless. Even the darkest sky eventually surrenders to dawn. The sun doesn't rush to rise, it simply keeps its promise. So does God. The Psalms say, weeping may last through the night, but joy comes in the morning. That verse is not just poetry, it's a promise. It means that no night lasts forever, no pain is without purpose, and no tear is unseen. Each one becomes a seed for something new. God collects them all, not to count your sorrow, but to water your healing. You might think you've run out of hope. You haven't. It may be buried deep, under fear, under exhaustion, under memories that still ache, but it's there. Hope doesn't disappear. It waits. It waits for the right moment to rise again. And it will. The same God who raised the sun each morning has never failed to raise broken hearts too. Maybe you've prayed and nothing has changed. Maybe you've tried to believe, but the silence feels louder than faith. Yet even silence has meaning. When you cannot hear God, it doesn't mean He's gone, it means He's listening. Sometimes the answers come not as words, but as presence. Not as a change around you, but as a peace within you. Hope is not pretending that everything is fine. It's choosing to believe that even in the heartbreak, something good is still being written. It's saying, I don't see it yet, but I trust it's coming. You may have walked through shadows, but shadows can only exist where light still shines. Hope is that light. Think about the sunrise. It doesn't erase the night. It transforms it. The darkness becomes the canvas for the first brush of gold. In the same way, God doesn't erase your past. He transforms it into something new. The pain you thought would destroy you becomes the soil where compassion grows. The heartbreak you thought would end you becomes the space where love learns to breathe again. There's a verse that says, "The Lord will be your everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end." Everlasting light, that means there will come a time when you no longer have to wait for morning, because the presence of God will be your sunrise. Until then, He gives you small dawns, moments of peace, laughter, kindness, a friend's voice, a breath that doesn't hurt as much as it did yesterday. These are glimpses of His promise. Hope is alive. If you've been holding on by a thread, don't be ashamed of that. God can work with a thread. He weaves miracles out of the smallest strands of faith. You don't have to see the full tapestry to trust that it's beautiful. All you need to do is keep holding on. When your grip loosens, His hand holds tighter. When your strength runs low, His grace runs deep. There will be days when it feels easier to give up. When your heart says, "It's too much," and your mind agrees. On those days, don't reach for strength. Reach for stillness. Breathe. Whisper His name. Let hope do the reaching for you. Hope will carry what your heart cannot. David once said, "I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Not someday in heaven, but here, in this life. The same world that broke you can become the world that heals you, because God is not finished yet. The story is still being written, and every chapter, yes, even this one, will lead toward grace. So tonight, let hope rise again, not as a feeling, but as a choice. Choose to believe that dawn is coming, even before you see its light. Choose to believe that the pain has purpose, even if you don't yet understand it. Choose to rest in the truth that the same hands that painted the stars are still holding your heart. When you wake tomorrow, you may not see everything change, but you will have changed. You will be softer, stronger, and still here. And that, dear soul, is hope made real. Close your eyes now. Let the night cradle you in its quiet promise. Somewhere beyond your sight, light is already climbing the horizon. The dawn is on its way. The darkness cannot stop it. Neither can fear, neither can doubt. The light always returns, because He is faithful. Sleep now, child of God, and rest in that promise. The morning is coming, and with it, joy. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things to understand, because our hearts remember pain so well. We replay the words, the moments, the things we wish we had done differently. Sometimes, the person we struggle to forgive most is ourselves. We think grace is for everyone else, but not for us. Yet the truth is, God's mercy has no exceptions. It reaches the places you try to hide. It covers the mistakes you cannot forget. It restores what shame has broken. There is a verse that says, "As far as the east is from the west, so far has He removed our transgressions from us." That means there is no measuring it. No map can find the distance between your sin and His mercy, because mercy has no end. God does not keep a record of your wrongs to hold them against you. He holds them only long enough to let them go. Maybe you've carried guilt for years, the kind that sits quietly behind your smile. Maybe you've said sorry 100 times and still felt unworthy. But listen, God already heard you the first time. Forgiveness isn't earned, it's received. When you confessed, heaven didn't hesitate. The moment you said, "Lord, I'm sorry," His answer was already waiting. You are forgiven. We often think repentance is about proving our sorrow, but it's really about returning home. God doesn't want your punishment. He wants your heart. He's not standing with folded arms demanding explanations. He's running toward you like the father in the parable, arms open, eyes filled with love, saying, "You're home now." The shame you carry has no authority in His presence. The cross was enough. The debt is paid. The Psalms say, "The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love." When God looks at you, He doesn't see the failure. He sees the child He created. You might still feel the echo of what went wrong, but He sees what's being made right. He's not finished yet. His mercy is new every morning, not recycled, not limited, but new. That means you can wake up tomorrow free, no matter what yesterday looked like. Forgiveness isn't pretending it didn't hurt. It's choosing to let God heal what you can't. It's saying, "This wound doesn't define me anymore." Some wounds take time to close, but mercy works quietly beneath the surface, stitching together what pain tore apart. You don't have to rush the process. Healing and forgiveness grow in the same soil, tender, patient, sacred. If there's someone you can't forgive, remember, forgiveness doesn't mean approval. It means release. You let go not because they were right, but because holding on keeps you from peace. Let God be the judge. Let grace do what justice cannot. Every act of forgiveness is an act of freedom for them and for you. There's a psalm that says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." That's not a demand. It's a plea of surrender. A clean heart isn't a perfect one. It's a heart that keeps returning to love. Each time you turn back, no matter how many times, He welcomes you with the same joy. That's who He is, unchanging, unfailing, unmeasurable mercy. Sometimes the hardest part is forgiving yourself. You look back at the choices, the words, the harm, and you wonder how grace could cover that too. But grace doesn't skip over the hardest places. It rushes straight toward them. The cross wasn't partial, it was complete. Every sin, every regret, every moment of weakness was already seen and already redeemed. The hands that were nailed were not shaking with anger. They were open in love. Child of God, the past cannot chain you anymore. What was meant to break you has become the very place God meets you. Your story is not over. You are not defined by your mistakes, but by His mercy. That's why it's called Amazing Grace, because it doesn't make sense. It's bigger than logic, stronger than shame, and deeper than regret. If guilt whispers to you tonight, let mercy speak louder. Hear the words, "You are forgiven. You are loved. You are mine." And when you hear that, don't argue. Just breathe it in. Let forgiveness settle in your bones. Let it soften the tightness in your chest. Let it bring peace to the places that have stayed hidden too long. You are free now, free to rest, free to breathe, free to love again. Forgiveness has made you whole. God does not look at you and see your failure. He sees His reflection. You were never meant to live under the weight of shame. You were meant to live in the light of grace. So close your eyes tonight and let mercy wash over you like a gentle rain. Whatever you've done, whatever was done to you, give it to Him. Whisper it if you need to. Cry if you must, but let it go. He already carried it. He already finished it. Rest now, beloved. You are clean. You are covered. You are held. The night is not heavy anymore. Grace has done what only grace can do. Sleep knowing this, there is nothing left to prove. You are forgiven, and you are free. Gratitude is what turns ordinary moments into holy ones. It doesn't erase pain or pretend that everything is perfect. It simply opens your eyes to see the small miracles already around you. Tonight, before sleep, look back on the day, not through the lens of what went wrong, but through the quiet evidence of grace that never stopped flowing. There was air in your lungs, light in your eyes, a heart that kept beating through every worry. These are not small things. They are whispers of love. The Psalms say, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His mercy endures forever." Forever meaning there has never been a single moment when goodness and mercy have not existed. Gratitude is the act of noticing that truth in the middle of everything else. When you thank God for the little things, you begin to feel the weight of peace settling on you. You remember that life is not a list of what's missing, but a gift that keeps unfolding. Think of the blessings that never asked to be noticed, the breath that carried you here, the strength that held you upright even when you felt faint, the gentle kindness of someone who smiled at you today. Gratitude is the art of slowing down enough to see them. It is saying, "I see you, God, in the ordinary," and realizing that ordinary has always been sacred. When David wrote his songs of thanksgiving, he didn't write them after the battle was over. He wrote them in the middle of it. That's what gratitude does. It finds reasons to praise before the outcome arrives. It says, "Even here, even now, you are still worthy." It lifts your eyes from fear to faith, from lack to abundance, from noise to peace. Maybe life has felt heavy lately. Maybe gratitude feels far away. That's okay. Gratitude isn't a mood. It's a choice. You don't need to feel thankful to start being thankful. Sometimes saying thank you in the dark is what helps light return. The more you practice it, the more your heart remembers how to hope. Pause for a moment and think of one good thing. It doesn't have to be grand, perhaps just the warmth of your blanket, the steady rhythm of your breathing, or the quiet that lets you rest. These small things are reminders that God is near. His blessings are not always thunder. Sometimes they're the softness between heartbeats. The psalmist wrote, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits." Forgetting is easy. Remembering takes intention. Gratitude is remembrance of who God is, of what He's done, of how far you've come. When you start counting blessings, the list never truly ends. Every sunrise adds another. Every breath is a continuation. Even the hard days carry gifts disguised inside them. lessons, patience, empathy, strength you didn't know you had. Gratitude doesn't deny hardship, it transforms it. It says, "This too is shaping me." In every loss, there's a trace of grace waiting to be found. If your heart is tired, let thankfulness be your rest. Whisper softly, "Thank you, God, for not letting go of me." Thank Him for the unseen protection, the quiet guidance, the times you were rescued without even realizing it. Each memory becomes a stone of remembrance, building an altar of peace inside your heart. When you live with gratitude, you begin to see that blessings are not rewards, they're reminders. Reminders that you are loved, provided for, never forgotten. Gratitude opens your heart wide enough for joy to find its way back in. So tonight, before you drift into sleep, take one last deep breath and let your soul say thank you. Thank you for the air, for the stars, for the day that has passed, for the mercy that will meet you in the morning. Thank you for love that holds through storms, for peace that waits in silence, for hope that never dies. Rest now with a heart full of gratitude. Tomorrow will come, and with it new mercies. But for now, this is enough, this breath, this peace, this quiet thank you rising from your soul to His. Sleep in that gratitude, child of God. You are blessed beyond measure, and even as you close your eyes, heaven is smiling over you. Peace is not the absence of trouble, it's the calm that stays when everything else falls apart. It's that gentle stillness inside, the one that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances but on perfect love. Tonight, let your heart return to that still water, to the quiet place where God's presence washes over all the noise. You don't have to fix the storm to find peace. You just have to let Him sit with you in it. There is a verse that says, "He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." Still waters don't mean life without waves. They mean a heart that trusts the one who commands the sea. The world will always have chaos, but within you there can be calm. The same Jesus who calmed the storm still speaks the same words tonight. Peace, be still. You don't have to fight every thought, solve every fear, or understand every pain. Peace begins when you stop running from what hurts and start resting in who holds you. God does not wait for the world to quiet before giving you His peace. He gives it in the middle of the noise. His voice is softer than the fear, but stronger than it too. Maybe tonight your mind feels restless. Thoughts keep circling. Worries won't let go. That's okay. Bring them all to Him. Every fear, every question, every unfinished prayer. Lay them down like stones beside the river and watch how still the water becomes. Let His presence take the weight. Let His silence be enough. The Psalms say, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not weakness, it's trust. It's the moment you stop trying to carry what was never yours to hold. It's the breath that says, "I can rest now because He's awake." When you release control, you make space for peace to enter. Sometimes, peace looks like surrender, not giving up, but giving in, to grace, to timing, to love. When Jesus slept in the boat during the storm, He showed us something sacred. Peace is not found in control, but in confidence. confidence that your Father is near, that His plans are good, and that no wave is too high for His hand. If you've been searching for peace in people, in answers, in certainty, you can stop searching now. Peace isn't found, it's received. It's not a destination, it's a presence. It's the gentle assurance that you are not alone, that even in the dark, you are held by light. There's a kind of peace that doesn't make sense, the kind Paul spoke about when he said, "The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds." It's not logical, but it's real. It's the peace that meets you in grief and says, "You're safe." The peace that sits beside you in silence and doesn't need words. The peace that reminds you that love is still stronger than loss. Take a slow breath now. Feel your shoulders loosen, your thoughts soften. Let the air in your lungs remind you you are alive, you are sustained, you are seen. This is peace beginning to bloom again. Not because everything is fixed, but because you are not facing it alone. When fear rises again, whisper His name, Jesus. Sometimes that's all it takes. Just one name, and the air changes. His presence fills the room, quiet and holy. The waves may not stop immediately, but the heart within you will begin to still. That's where the miracle starts, not around you, but inside you. Tonight, let the world spin without you for a while. Let the burdens of the day slide off your shoulders. You don't have to hold them anymore. The same hands that shape the stars are holding you now. You can rest. The Lord will bless His people with peace, the psalm says. And that blessing is yours tonight. You don't need to chase it. You only need to receive it. Peace doesn't shout. It simply sits down beside you and whispers, "I'm here." So, lie back now. Feel the quiet returning. The night may be long, but peace has already entered the room. Let it settle over you like a blanket woven from heaven itself. The waters are calm. The storm is passing. His presence is here. Sleep now, child of God. You are safe in His stillness. You are home in His peace. Surrender is not defeat. It is the quiet act of trust that says, I don't have to understand to believe. I don't have to control to be safe. You were never meant to carry everything. The weight of the world is not yours to bear. It belongs to the one whose hands shaped it. And tonight, those same hands are reaching for you, gentle, patient, steady. There comes a point when striving only makes you tired. You've prayed, planned, worried, fought, and still, peace feels far. That's where surrender begins. It's not the end of effort. It's the beginning of rest. It's where your strength meets His grace, and suddenly you realize you were never alone in this battle. The Psalms say, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." Stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means you finally stopped trying to make things happen on your own. God works best in the silence between your trying and your trusting. Every time you loosen your grip, heaven moves a little closer. You might fear letting go because you think everything will fall apart, but what if letting go is the very thing that keeps it together? The moment you release control, His peace enters the cracks of your worry. He doesn't need your perfection. He needs your permission. When you say, "God, I can't do this anymore," that's not failure, it's faith. Jesus once said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That rest is not sleep, it's soul rest. It's the freedom that comes when you realize you don't have to be your own savior. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to hold everything together with shaking hands. You can let go and still be held. Think of a child falling asleep in their parents' arms. They don't ask if it's safe. They don't worry if they'll be dropped. They just rest, trusting the love that holds them. That's what surrender feels like when it's real. It's trust without needing proof. It's peace without needing answers. Sometimes you'll let go only to grab hold again, afraid of what might happen. Don't shame yourself for that. God knows how hard surrender can be. He doesn't scold you, He stays. Every time you try again, every time you open your hands a little more, He smiles and whispers, "That's enough for today." There's a verse that says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." You don't have to force what's meant for you. The doors He opens won't need to be pushed. The blessings He sends won't need to be chased. When you surrender, you align yourself with the rhythm of grace, and grace never hurries, never panics, never fails. If surrender feels like loss, remember, you're not losing control. You're returning it to the rightful hands. The same hands that formed your heart, the same hands that carried the cross, the same hands that hold the universe steady are holding your tomorrow. Maybe tonight, that's all you need to do. Just exhale and say, "God, it's yours." The worry, the pain, the timing, the people, the plans, all of it. Lay it at His feet, not because you've stopped caring, but because you finally know who cares more. The psalmist wrote, "Cast your burden upon the Lord, and He will sustain you." Cast, not place, gently throw it. Let it go completely. You're not built to hold it. He is. And when you do, when you finally release it, you'll notice something strange. The world doesn't collapse. Instead, your heart expands. Surrender is where miracles begin. It's the moment the seed falls into the ground and dies, only to rise again in beauty. It's the space where control ends and resurrection starts. When you surrender, you make room for the impossible. So, breathe now, slowly. Imagine yourself placing every burden in His hands one by one, your regrets, your fears, your unanswered prayers. Let them go. Feel your chest grow lighter. Feel His presence settle like peace around you. You don't have to understand the future to rest tonight. You only need to know who holds it. His will is not always predictable, but it is always good. He's not asking you to figure it out, only to trust that He already has. Close your eyes. Whisper softly, "I'm letting go." Let the words fall like a prayer. Let the silence after them be your offering. You have done enough. You have tried enough. Now, rest in the arms that never fail. The night belongs to God now. The weight is no longer yours. Sleep in that surrender, child of peace. The one who never slumbers is watching over you. The hands that hold the stars are holding you too, and they will never let go. Renewal begins in silence when the night is almost over, when the air feels softer, when your heart realizes it has survived what it thought it couldn't. There's something sacred about the moment after surrender. when your soul finally breathes again. You feel it first as a quiet warmth, like sunlight behind your ribs. Hope stretches, faith awakens, and suddenly the world doesn't seem as heavy as it did yesterday. That's renewal, the gentle return of life. God's mercy is not a one-time gift. It's a daily sunrise. The Psalms say, His mercies are new every morning. Every morning meaning every failure, every fear, every disappointment finds a dawn waiting to wash it clean. No matter what happened yesterday, today begins with grace. You are not who you were last night. You are being made new right now in ways you can't even see. Renewal is not always dramatic. Sometimes it happens slowly, like the way winter softens into spring. You don't notice the change until one day the ground that was frozen begins to bloom again. God does that in you too. He turns your dry places into gardens, your ashes into beauty. Healing rarely shouts, it unfolds. Maybe you've been waiting for something to start again, a dream, a relationship, a sense of purpose. Maybe you've felt stuck between endings and beginnings. But God specializes in resurrections. He breathes life into what you thought was gone. What looks like an ending is often just a seed buried for transformation. You are not behind. You are becoming. There's a verse that says, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. That means renewal isn't about starting over, it's about continuing what He's already begun. You are not being replaced. You are being restored. Every broken piece is being shaped into something stronger. Every scar is being turned into light. The night tried to tell you it was over, but dawn says otherwise. The same God who spoke light into darkness still speaks into your story. Every breath you take tonight is a reminder that you're still here for a reason. You are evidence of grace that refuses to give up. Renewal often begins where exhaustion ends. When you finally stop striving, God begins to rebuild. He fills what you emptied. He strengthens what you surrendered. Like rain softening dry soil, His presence seeps into every weary place, reviving what pain had silenced. You don't have to force your healing, it's already happening. Think of a tree after the storm. The branches may be broken, but the roots are still alive. It doesn't rush to bloom again. It simply leans toward light. That's all God asks of you. Just keep leaning. Renewal is not about running. It's about turning your face toward the warmth of His love until life finds you again. There is beauty in beginning again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer afraid to try. You know what it feels like to fall and rise, to be lost and found, to be broken and healed. That is strength reborn. That is grace in motion. The Lord will restore your strength, and you will soar on wings like eagles. That's not just poetry, it's a promise. Renewal means learning to fly again, not with your own power, but with His. Every time you trust, you rise. Every time you forgive, you grow lighter. Every time you love again, you defy what tried to destroy you. Tonight, let your heart rest in that truth. God is not done with you. He is still writing, still healing, still breathing new life into your story. The past has no claim on your future. What felt like loss was preparation. What looked like delay was protection. What seemed dead is waiting for resurrection. Close your eyes and imagine morning light slowly spreading over a quiet field. Hear the birds returning, the air waking, the gentle hum of life beginning again. That's what your soul sounds like when God renews it. Quiet, peaceful, alive. So tonight, don't try to plan tomorrow. Just rest in this in-between, the holy space where endings fade and beginnings unfold. Let the Spirit renew your thoughts, your heart, your hope. You've made it through the darkness. The dawn is already here. Sleep now, beloved. The old is gone. The new is rising. The morning of your soul has come. Light has always been God's first language. It was His very first word, "Let there be light." And ever since, creation has been echoing that command. Light is not just what He makes, it's who He is. When you feel lost, when the shadows grow tall, remember this: darkness does not win. It never has. Because even the smallest light carries the memory of His voice. There are nights when you forget that truth. Nights when the world feels dim and your prayers feel unanswered. You wonder if He still sees you. But light doesn't have to be seen to be real. It exists even behind the clouds, waiting. Even when you can't feel His presence, He is there, steady and silent like a heartbeat beneath the noise. The Psalms say, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" Light doesn't just chase fear away, it transforms the space it touches. It reveals truth, it warms what was cold, it shows the way home. God's presence is like that. It doesn't need to shout to be powerful. It simply enters and everything changes. Sometimes His light comes softly as sunrise after a long night. A kind word, a quiet moment of peace that wasn't there before. Other times, it floods your soul all at once, like the breaking of a storm. However it comes, it is always enough. You don't have to chase it. You just have to open your eyes. When Jesus said, "I am the light of the world," He wasn't only talking about guiding us through darkness. He was promising to live inside of us. That means no matter how dark life becomes, light still lives within you. You are not trying to find it, it's already there, waiting to rise. Maybe you've felt surrounded by shadows lately. Fear, loss, loneliness, uncertainty. But light does its best work in the dark. It doesn't panic, it simply shines. The darkness cannot understand it, cannot extinguish it. And the more it tries to hide, the brighter grace becomes. Think of how dawn arrives. It never rushes in. It unfolds. Slowly, quietly, the sky shifts. The edges glow, and what was hidden begins to be seen. That's how God's light moves through you. Patient, gentle, certain. You don't have to force it. You only have to face it. There's a verse that says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Notice it's a lamp, not a floodlight. God doesn't always show the entire road. He gives you enough for the next step. The rest unfolds in trust. That's what walking with light means. Believing that every step you take in faith will reveal the next. Light also reveals truth, even when truth hurts. It shows what needs healing, what needs forgiving, what needs to be released. But light never exposes to shame. It exposes to restore. Every time God brings something to the surface, it's not to condemn you, but to set you free. Sometimes you are the light for someone else. The way you speak kindly, the way you forgive, the way you keep loving even after being hurt, that's God shining through you. The world is full of people walking in darkness, searching for warmth. Be the quiet glow that reminds them of Him. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That's not just a verse, it's a victory. It means that every time you rise again, every time you hope again, every time you love again, you're proving that the darkness failed. Tonight, let light find you again. Let it seep through the cracks of your thoughts, through the weight of your worries, through every part of you that's tired of the fight. You don't have to earn it, just let it in. The same light that painted the stars now rests gently on your face. Close your eyes. Feel its warmth not from the sun, but from the one who made it. Feel the peace that comes when you realize you've never truly been alone. His light has been following you all this time, even through the valleys, even through the silence. If tears come, let them. Sometimes light feels like that, like release, like clarity, like something finally opening inside you. That's how healing begins. And when morning comes, step into it slowly. Let the sunlight touch your skin like grace returning. Let the new day remind you that nothing is wasted, that light always finds a way back, that God's presence never fades. You are not standing in the dark anymore. You are surrounded by light inside and out. You are loved beyond measure. You are seen. You are home. Sleep now, child of light. The night is over. The dawn has arrived. And His presence, gentle, radiant, eternal, will never leave you. Love is the beginning and the end of every story God has ever written. It's the first truth whispered into creation and the last word that will echo through eternity. Everything else, faith, hope, forgiveness, peace, all of it flows from love. Without love, the world loses its rhythm, but with it, even pain becomes holy. The Psalms say, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end." That means His love isn't a wave that rises and falls. It's an ocean constant, boundless, and alive. You may drift, but you will never drift too far. No storm can pull you from His depths. Sometimes, love feels distant, as if heaven has gone quiet. But love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it comes as a breath in the silence, a warmth in the chest, a moment of stillness that feels like being seen. That's God always there, even when you stop looking. You can't outrun His love. It's faster than your fear. You can't lose it. It's stronger than your doubt. You might have been told love needs to be earned, but grace says otherwise. Before you did a single good thing, before you prayed a single prayer, you were already loved. God's love isn't a reaction. It's the reason you exist. It is not based on what you do, but on who He is. And He is love itself. Think of all the ways He's shown it, how the morning light finds you, how forgiveness keeps finding you too. Every answered prayer is love. Every unanswered one is love too, because He knows what would have broken you. Even in the no's and the not yets, love is protecting you. Jesus said, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Remain in my love." Remain, that's the invitation. Stay, rest. You don't need to chase it, prove it, or deserve it. Just remain. Let love wrap around you like air, unseen yet essential. There's a kind of love that doesn't leave when you fall apart. It sits with you in the ashes and calls you beautiful. It sees every flaw and still chooses you. That's divine love. Human love may fade or fail, but God's love does not. It doesn't depend on your faithfulness. It's anchored in His. Maybe love has hurt you before. Maybe the people who were supposed to stay didn't. Maybe words were spoken that made you question your worth. But God's love is different. It's not fragile. It doesn't leave when you're too much or too little. It stays. Always. When David wrote, "Your love is better than life," he wasn't exaggerating. He had known loss, guilt, fear, and still, he found love to be the one thing that never ran dry. That's what you can hold on to too. The world may fail, but love remains. Love is not just something God gives, it's what He becomes in you. When you forgive, love is moving. When you comfort someone, love is speaking. When you pray for those who hurt you, love is reigning. Every act of kindness is proof that the Creator still breathes through creation. And yes, sometimes love will break your heart, but only to make it bigger. Only to teach you compassion you couldn't have known otherwise. Love doesn't shield you from pain. It transforms it. Every tear that falls in love's name waters something eternal. The cross was not nails and wood, it was love, stretched wide enough to hold the whole world. That's where everything changes. That's where love stopped being an idea and became a person. He didn't just tell us what love is. He showed us. Tonight, rest in that love. Let it find the parts of you that feel unworthy and remind them they're wrong. Let it speak into your fear until it softens. Let it quiet your questions. Love is the answer they've been asking for all along. Close your eyes now. You don't have to earn this. You don't have to understand it. You just have to receive it. You are loved completely, endlessly, forever. Nothing you do will make Him love you more. Nothing you've done will make Him love you less. His love is steady. His love is enough. His love is here. Sleep now in the heart of that love. Let it hold you the way sunlight holds the world, without asking, without effort, without end. The night is gentle, the stars are bright, and His love, His eternal love, is all around you. Rest is holy. It's not laziness or escape, it's worship. It's the soul's way of saying, God, I trust you enough to stop. After all the striving, all the searching, all the running, there comes a sacred quiet where you realize the world can keep turning without your worry. That's where rest begins, not when everything is done, but when you finally decide it doesn't have to be. The Psalms say, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." That peace isn't earned by effort, it's given by grace. The same God who holds the galaxies in motion is watching over you tonight. You can close your eyes because his never close. Rest is an act of faith. It says, I don't need to carry tomorrow, because God is already there. It's the pause between heartbeats, the stillness between prayers. It's choosing to let go of what you can't fix and letting him take care of what you can't reach. You don't need to hold the universe together. That's his job, and he's very good at it. Maybe rest feels hard right now. Your thoughts keep spinning. Your heart won't quiet down. That's okay. Don't force silence, invite it. Breathe slowly. Picture the worries of your day falling gently into his hands. Feel his presence surrounding you like a soft blanket, steady and warm. That's not imagination, that's truth. Jesus once said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He didn't say, "Earn your rest." He said, "Come." There's no condition, no requirement, only invitation. You are allowed to stop striving. You are allowed to rest, even if the world still feels unfinished. The world tells you to keep pushing. God tells you to lie down in green pastures. He restores your soul, not by adding more noise, but by removing it. Rest isn't about doing nothing, it's about remembering who's in control. The moment you stop trying to manage everything is the moment peace begins to rise again. Sometimes rest looks like forgiveness. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it's just tears that finally fall after holding them in too long. And in each of those moments, God is near, closer than your next breath, whispering, "You can let go now. I've got you." When David said, "He makes me lie down," he wasn't being poetic. He meant that sometimes love forces us to rest because we forget how. God will pull you away from the noise, not to punish you, but to heal you. The stillness you resist might be the very thing saving you. Rest is the return home to the center of yourself, where his spirit lives. You were never meant to live on constant alert. You were meant to breathe freely, to walk lightly, to sleep peacefully in the assurance that he is God and you are his. So tonight, stop counting what went wrong. Stop rehearsing what might go wrong. None of it belongs here. The night is for healing, not worrying. Let grace take your place. Let love do the keeping. Let rest be your prayer. You are safe. You are seen. You are cared for. The shepherd who watched over David still watches over you. The same hand that guided the stars into place is resting gently on your life. Nothing will happen tonight outside of his care. If you wake in the middle of the night, don't panic. Just whisper, "You're here." Because he is. Every breath, every heartbeat, every small sound in the quiet, he's in all of it. You are surrounded by his presence, guarded by his peace. Close your eyes now. Let go of what's left. The day is over. Grace remains. Let your thoughts slow until they fade into stillness. Let your soul sink into his rest, deep and unbroken. You are loved. You are protected. You are home. Sleep now, in the sacred quiet of his care. The Lord is your rest, your refuge, your peace. The night belongs to him, and so do you. Eternity isn't far away, it's closer than breath. woven into every heartbeat. It's not only the life after this one, it's the life that flows through you even now, the quiet echo of forever humming beneath the ordinary. You were created for it, shaped in its rhythm, and your soul has never forgotten the sound. That's why, even when you find peace in the world, there's still a longing that whispers, there must be more. That whisper is eternity calling you home. The psalmist wrote, "From everlasting to everlasting, you are God." That means before the first sunrise, He already loved you, and after the final sunset, He still will. Time bends around His presence, but His love doesn't change. Every moment you've ever lived has been held inside His eternity, safely kept in the heart of the one who has no end. When you look at the stars, you're not just seeing light, you're seeing the past traveling through space, still shining even after the source has faded. That's what eternity feels like. Love, once spoken, never dies. Every act of grace you've given, every prayer whispered in faith, every tear offered in trust, it all lives forever in His memory. Nothing done in love is ever lost. We often think of eternity as later after this life ends, but in truth, it begins now. Jesus said, "Whoever believes in me has eternal life, has, not will have." Eternity starts the moment love takes root in you. It's the peace that no time can touch, the joy that death cannot undo. You're already walking in forever, you just don't see it yet. Eternity is not an escape from life. It's the fullness of it. It's where every wound is healed, every story finds its meaning, every goodbye becomes a reunion. In eternity, there are no clocks, no distance, no fear, only light, only presence, only love. That's where you are headed. That's what waits for you beyond the morning. The book of Revelation says, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes." There will be no more death, nor sorrow, nor pain, for the former things have passed away. Imagine that for a moment, a world with no more endings, a place where laughter doesn't fade, where memory doesn't ache, where you can rest and never wake to worry again. That is home. That is eternity. Sometimes, life feels too heavy for forever to be real. But eternity is not a fantasy, it's the truest thing that exists. The ache in your chest when you love, the pull in your heart when you forgive, the beauty that moves you to tears. Those are glimpses of eternity breaking through time. You were made for this longing. You were made for forever. The cross was the bridge. The resurrection was the doorway. And now, every breath of faith is a step closer to the light that never ends. Heaven is not far away. It's as near as the one who lives in you. The same presence that calms you tonight is the same presence that will welcome you home one day. When you stand in that final dawn, there will be no fear. The voice you hear will not be strange. It will be the same gentle voice that guided you through every night of your life. You will look back and realize that grace had been leading you home all along. The Lord will be your everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end. That's the promise. That's eternity. The end of endings, the beginning that never fades. So, as you rest tonight, don't think of eternity as far away. It's here, wrapping itself around your breathing, whispering through your dreams. The same God who was and is to come watches over you still. You are not a fleeting moment. You are part of His forever. Close your eyes. The night is deep, but deeper still is His love. Beyond the morning, beyond time, beyond all you can imagine, He waits, arms open, light unending. Sleep now, child of eternity. You are safe in the promise. You are held in forever, and forever has already begun. May this night be gentle upon you. May every breath you take remind you that you are not alone. The world may grow quiet now, but heaven does not sleep. The same love that shaped the stars is watching over you, whispering peace into every corner of your heart. May the weight you've carried finally rest. Let it slide off your shoulders and fall into the hands that never fail. You've done enough. You've tried enough. Now, simply be. Let grace do what your strength cannot. Let love finish what your effort began. May your mind be still and your heart soft again. Whatever fear followed you into this night, let it stop at the door. It cannot enter where peace has made its home. The Lord Himself guards your rest. The one who neither slumbers nor forgets will hold you in the quiet until morning comes. May you feel His presence near, closer than breath, kinder than words. When you wake in the dark, may His name be the first thing you remember. When you dream, may His voice be the calm within them. When you rise again, may His mercy be the sunlight on your face. May forgiveness stay with you, and hope never wander far. May faith be your anchor, and love your song. And may your soul, even now, feel eternity humming softly beneath this very moment, reminding you that you belong to forever. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and give you peace. This is not just an old prayer, it is a promise renewed every time you rest. Peace is not outside of you. It's already here, blooming in the space between your heartbeats. So now, beloved child of God, release the day, the worries, the noise, the striving. Let them fade into silence. Let the night cradle you in stillness. Let your body breathe as your soul leans fully into grace. Sleep deeply and unafraid. You are known. You are loved. You are held in arms that will never let you go. May your dreams be soft, your rest unbroken, your heart at ease. And when the morning light returns, may you rise not with burden but with blessing. Peace to you, now and always. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The night is quiet now. The last word has been spoken, but His presence still lingers, soft, steady, like the rhythm of your breathing. You don't need to say anything more. Just rest here, in the hush between heartbeats, where the sacred and the simple meet. This is where the story pauses, not ends. The lamps may dim, the music may fade, but love remains unchanged, unhurried, unending. The same love that found you at the start has carried you here to this calm, and it will follow you into tomorrow. Nothing can take that from you. Not fear, not time, not distance. You've walked through every season tonight: anxiety, faith, forgiveness, gratitude, peace, surrender, renewal, light, love, rest. And through it all, one truth stayed constant. God was here, in every word, in every breath, in every silence. This moment is not about finishing, it's about remembering. Remember that you are held. Remember that you are loved. Remember that peace is not something you chase, it's something you allow. You can return here whenever the world feels too heavy. This quiet will always wait for you. As you drift towards sleep, let gratitude be your final thought. Thank Him for the day, for the breath, for the chance to begin again. Thank Him for light in darkness, for comfort in pain, for love that outlasts everything. And if you wake before morning, don't rush, just listen. The night is full of His voice, gentle as wind, low as a heartbeat. He's here, even then, whispering, "Be still. It's all right. I'm still with you. Rest now, dear soul." The story continues beyond this night, but for now, you don't have to move. Just stay here, wrapped in peace. The world outside may sleep, but heaven watches awake. And somewhere in that vast, endless light, your name is still being spoken. With love, with tenderness, with purpose. Good night. You are safe. You are loved. And you are home.